everybody, it's diys-by-dar, and so far in 2022 I've gotten my hand back. I did get a new computer with a new software editing program called Adobe Premiere Pro. So this is going to be the first video that I will have made with that new software program. This video is about a star argonite wire wrap. This is a really odd shaped thing to try to artistically wrap. I did wrap it with some heavy copper, and I wanted the effect that I didn't want to have a lot of wire on it, so more of that crystal could show and it could still really hang like a nice beautiful pendant. I think I did accomplish that. What I do apologize for is if it's really shaky, because I did record this video at about 4 weeks post-op, and I didn't have the greatest control over my hand and my fingers quite yet. At the end of this video, I did add a little presentation looking at my hand and what has happened to it, and also when the doctor took the pin out of the top of it in his office. So if you're into that kind of stuff and you're curious to see, I'm a retired nurse, so this is why I'm so weird. If you're into that kind of thing and you want to see that, it is at the end. If you're squeamish and you don't want to see that, then just stop and don't even go there. Enjoy the video. Here's the crystal. Here's 2 pieces of 18 gauge copper wire, about 5 to 6 inches long. Here's a half round 18 gauge piece of wire, about 6 inches long. You're going to take your 2 square pieces of wire and start to wrap that half round around it, keeping it as straight as possible. And you can take a pair of pliers and tamp it down every now and then and get it nice and tight and squared up. And I probably usually take it around, depending on how long the stone is, 5 or 6 times. So that's what we're going to do here. Keep wrapping. Now check it out, just make sure it's nice and straight. Pick up your stone, see which way you might like to put it on there, get a feel for it, turn it around, see how it would look best on there. At this point, we need to make a bail. So I'm going to use a pair of bail making pliers this time. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on the largest setting. And you want to anticipate enough length to get that bail so it's almost going to be in the center of that stone where the bottom portion meets, because what we're going to do is we're going to take and tamp it down and take the tail of that 18 gauge half round wire that we had left, and we are just going to take and wrap that around, heading up towards the top of that bail, just as so. Just keep wrapping it around and tighten it down. And with this, you can just keep going until you run out of wire. Or if you want a really, really long bail, then you're just going to cut it and you're going to tuck it in. And when we get to the end here, you'll see how I split that bail open, and I just take that little tail end and I tuck it right down the center in between both of the bail wires. Getting to the end here, and every so often We'll wait until after I tuck this down there in the center, right in between them, because you're going to mess up the alignment of your two bale wires. You just have to take and straighten them up. Just take a pair of round nose pliers and pull them up tight at the top and even them out. Square it up again. Just make sure it's straight, that it's squared up. The ends push down and pull up on the top and make sure they're the same length. Now you're ready to split them. There you have it. We're going to have two ends sticking out of the bottom, the leftover 18 gauge square wire. So I'm just going to bend them up, and potentially, if you figured this in your design, you could have left these really long, or just given yourself a longer piece of wire to start with. And then you could use those side wires to help hold your stone in some other way. I wanted to use less wire on this, so they were kind of just in the way, so I decided what I was going to do is just go ahead and take and cut them off smaller, just so when I curled them, they would be about the width of the wire itself. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. I want both of them wires the same length, so the curl comes out about the same. And then I'm going to take a real small pair of needle nose pliers, and I'm going to make a little loop, a little round loop here. There's one loop. I'm just pressing it into the side of the wire, and we'll get the other side. And there's the other loop. I'm just going to press it down, press the whole thing together. Checking it out when I get done, just make sure you don't have any sharp edges sticking up. You want them all neatly tucked down. Looks pretty neatly tucked down. No sharpness. I still have the end of that little pigtail to deal with, that 18 gauge half round. So I'm just going to clip it off and anticipate how much you need to clip off to get that wire to go ahead and work around. So the end of it, when you press it down, is going to be to the back of the stone, so it's not towards the skin. There it is. Bale on a stick. Let's set the stone back up there and re-evaluate if things have changed with placement on the way that's going to fit together the best way. How is it going to lay naturally? What way is it going to look the best and lay naturally? Finally, I hit the one that I wanted to use. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully set that down in that direction and pick it up that way. When I was looking at that wire, what I needed to do to get it to really fit inside that stone is I needed to curve it just a little bit. So I'm tightening it all up, and then I'm going to put a gentle curve on it so it will kind of cradle right inside that stone. you have to really look at your stones. You're going to have something that's really odd shaped. Just let that wire speak to you. Let that stone speak to you, and find out which way it's gonna lay the best. When I hold it up, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Right there. Enough of a curve so that bale wire fits in there with not a lot of movement. So I got the two pieces coming down the bottom. I'm going to curl them up naturally how they want to go. Feeling it slowly as I'm going. I need to split them 2 wires apart because I need each one to go up each side to help secure that stone in there, because I only have 2 pieces of copper wire. And when you're doing this and you have a crystal, you need to be really careful, because sometimes crystals, they can come loose and fracture, and then your whole design is ruined. So you have to be really careful, and you'll be able to tell by looking at my fingers that this can be pretty rough on your fingers, your fingernail ends and your fingers, because that's basically your tool when you're pushing on that wire. I will always prefer to use my fingers if I can. So I'm just going to wrap it around one of the loops and back around to the back. Trying to decide what I'm going to do with the other one. It's going to have to come back up and go around the top somehow, because I'm going to have one wire that is going to secure around the top of the bale to hold it in place. And that's going to be the one. There, I'm wrapping it around that little nugget. I decided I was going to trim it right there and just make a little round. Round curl. Tucking it in. Had to get that other wire wrapped around the top of that bale, and then just tuck that wire in like I did on the 18 gauge that came up to the top that I tucked in between the 2 bale wires. This one was just tucked in along the back side once I got it wrapped around. And check it over. Check the wires. Feel if they're tight. Push them into place. Just be careful not to push that hard that you detach one of your crystals. Now you'll understand why there's always little divots in my fingernails from pushing on wire. I would rather push with my finger than take a tool, because tools can slip and mar your rock, and tools can mar your wire. And you'll see that I do have my tools dipped in Tool Magic. You can get it at any hardware store. Just ask if they have any Tool Magic for dipping tools in. And that's exactly what I have on there. Just helps. There it is. Let's take a nice little fashion show of this up close. Alright, that's a little better. Oh, my hand, look at it. I've lost all the muscle in my hand. It's completely like shriveled up. Plus there's some people at Doug's work that want to see it too. Yep. Oh geez. That was nothing. Ooh, let's look at it. There you go, people. Can't handle it no more. Can't handle it no more. It's gotta come off. I'll save it and put it back on with the wrap, but I can't take this. It's impeding healing. These scabs need to come off. The hole is closed. This is all healed up. Look at my arm. It needs to be off. I need to get some air on it. I need to just get it in the pool and let some circulation get to it. I've lost half my strength in my hand, I'm sure. I mean, it just looks. Look at the difference between the strength and my hands. Oh my God. I can't do this. I gotta take that off. It's gotta get back on. Yeah, it's my luck today. It's my luck today.